Hey guys, it's currently 1:46 a.m. and I was about to go try and find some subreddits like with horror stories or scary stories in them to read, and all the power in my house went out. Pitch black. Don't know if that's a sign or not, but I think I'm gonna just go to bed for now. And we'll reevaluate this when I wake up. Hey guys, it's Indy, and today, in honor of my very special and beautiful friend Kate, we are going to be doing some scary stories. So we're going to be looking at some r/nosleep. The story called The Chernobyl Disaster was a cover-up of something terrifying. You've probably heard about tourism in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. I've been there myself several times. It is nothing like what you see in games or horror movies. There are no ghosts, mutants, or radioactive anomalies, and death isn't waiting for you around every corner. Actually, I think it's one of the most peaceful and prettiest places on Earth. An example of strength of nature and how it can reverse the damage that we caused it. Thus, when my friend Alexi and I decided to go there, he knew who to contact. He's a physics student, and right now he's doing some kind of research on nuclear fallout, and he said that he wanted to get some direct measurements and samples, but we both knew it was just an excuse to go on an adventure. We visited the old power plant, the abandoned city, Pripyat, and the surrounding exclusion zone. It was nice, but I'm not going to bore you with all the details. That part is not important anyway. We were driving on some dirt roads in a forest east of Pripyat when we found it. An old rusty fence and a chained gate that blocked any further passage. There was a big sign with a radiation hazard symbol on it, captioned, "Restricted Area, Authorized Personnel Only." There was a pair of massive metal blast doors in the side of an artificially looking hill not far from behind the fence, with a large white O13 painted on it and said "No Entry" on the top. "What do you think it is?" Alex said. "I don't know, but it looks like some kind of bunker," I replied. "And it looks like it's been closed for a long time," I added after taking a closer look at the doors. Both halves were welded shut in the center. Alex took his samples and readings, but we were too puzzled to leave just yet. "Do you think we can get in?" I asked. "Well, not this way for sure. Even if it wasn't welded sealed, I'm sure there would be no way of unlocking it," Alex replied while examining the massive door. "It looks like there's an underground bunker. They must have had a pump to air inside, but I don't think this is it. There has to be another way to get in," I said. We circled the main entrance to try and find another means of entry, but the day was already coming to an end, and it was slowly getting darker. As we searched, a thought crossed my mind. Why would they weld the doors? What's so important inside that they went this far to keep people away? "Look, there's something here." Alex pulled me away from my thoughts. It was a concrete block a couple meters large, with what looked like vents on the side. As I looked into the vents, I noticed they were also sealed, with a heavy-looking steel hatch, and no clear way to open them. However, there was a somewhat smaller door labeled "Service Tunnel," with a large wheel on the outside. "Should I open it?" I asked. "Yeah, I'm really wondering what it is. Anyways, we don't have to go in. At least, we'll see if the door works." At first, the wheel wouldn't turn because of all the rust and dirt, but eventually, it budged. The door unlocked. We pulled, and slowly it started opening. It was a very heavy door, and it took a lot of force. Behind the door, there was a small platform and a tight vertical tunnel with a ladder. What caught my attention was that there was an identical looking mechanism on the inside. That meant that they could lock the door from both sides. But why? We were lucky, because if it had been locked from the inside too, there would be no way to get in. I stepped inside and shined my phone light down the shaft. It wasn't strong enough to hit the bottom. The air was damp and old, and there was something that I couldn't identify. A very faint, chemical-like smell. There was also no radiation or any other hazard signs. "You've got to be kidding me. This is so cool. We have to come back here and check it out later," Alex said. I couldn't agree more. It was almost dark now, so we sealed the door and called it a day. But we promised ourselves to return. I immediately tried to do some more research when I got home. Unfortunately, no success. I even tried to call Pavel, a friend of mine who knew the area better than me. Actually, it was him who brought me there for the first time. He couldn't help me either, but promised to ask around. I told him about our plan and asked if he would go with us, but unfortunately, he was out of the country for a while. A week later, we packed our gear and went on with it. We bought some rope, heavy flashlights, glow sticks, Geiger counters, waterproof protective clothes, an oxygen meter, and a small emergency scuba tank, just in case. And yeah, we're not stupid, so we told our relatives and friends about the trip and when we were expecting to return. We closed the door behind us as we descended down the access shaft. We couldn't know what was down there, and we didn't want to cause a radiation leak or something like that. We eventually dropped down into the concrete tunnel, which enclosed the air vents and some smaller pipes. There was obviously no power and thus no light. Good thing we brought our own. We followed the tunnel and reached another door. This time it was a rectangular one, not a heavy bunker type. We went through and entered a room with 4 large air pumps, some electrical equipment and controls. The ventilation shafts split here into 2 larger ones that ran straight into the ground and 2 smaller ones that went straight across the room where there was another set of doors. Behind the doors, there was a large number of boxes, crates, cargo, and other things just laying around. There was also a security checkpoint. Behind the checkpoint, we found a main door that we must have seen from the outside. Just next to it, there was some heavy lifting equipment. We returned through the checkpoint and took another look at the set of elevators. There was a simple map with the layout and a facility floor by floor. We were on floor 0, main entry hall. There were another 4 floors below us. Floor 1, offices, security, and recreation. Floor 2, secure laboratories. Floor 3, accelerator, clean room, and decontamination chamber. Floor 4, experiment site. The map was titled Object 13. It wasn't a military bunker. This was a research site. We took a set of stairs since the elevators were probably no use without power. An unsettling thought brushed my mind as we were descending. They were probably moving some supplies and then left them here and took the equipment to the main door. Were they trying to get out? I stepped onto another stair, but something rolled under my foot and I lost my balance and fell on my back. My pack luckily absorbed the impact. I looked down at my feet to see what caused my fall. Empty bullet casings. This wasn't the sole reason why I felt odd about this place. As soon as we got down to level 1, I noticed that every single door was open. Every single one. There was a canteen and a kitchen at the right at the beginning of the long rectangular corridor. Various offices surrounded the corridor, and there was rectangular stuff, paper, old computers, personal belongings, all right where they left it. Did they leave in a hurry? Dimitri, Alex called from the canteen on the opposite side of the corridor. What? Was all I could say when I followed him into the canteen. There was food still neatly served on the tables, but it wasn't spoiled. It wasn't fresh either, but it wasn't decaying like a 30-year-old meal should. How is this possible? I don't know, maybe it was irradiated or something, but it's not anymore. I checked that. I don't really know, man, he answered as puzzled as I was. Oh, why didn't we just turn back here and leave? Now that I'm writing this, there are so many red flags already. Something really wrong happened down there, but I guess we were too excited and curious. But at this point, my excitement was starting to fade and was replaced by an eerie feeling. Nevertheless, we continued and descended down to level 2. The stairwell ended here, and to go deeper, we would have to cross the entire floor to reach another one on the opposite side. There was a security checkpoint and a large blast door that we had to pass through to reach the labs. Again, every door was wide open. However, the things that people left here weren't neatly placed where they should have been. It was a mess everywhere. There were all kinds of rooms with all kinds of equipment that I didn't understand. Occasionally, there was more empty bullet casings on the ground. There was still the one central rectangular corridor as above, but the rooms around it were like a little maze. Almost on the other side of the floor, we found a head scientist's office. As I said, everywhere was a mess, but I found a logbook on the desk. There was only a handful of pages, the rest torn out. October 5th, 1984. Today we successfully managed to translocate several atoms without changes in any physical properties. It's going to be a long road until we can transport solid objects, but we're going somewhere here with good work. January 17th. 1985. We managed to transport an apple today. However, I couldn't help but notice the pattern of the red and green skin at the top was slightly different. It was still the same apple, with the same structure, shape, and everything. We also tried to transport some electronics. They were unharmed and in working order. I think that we still have a lot to perfect and learn about this technology, but we can't slow down now. The country is relying on us. February 21st, 1985. After the animal trials, we translocated our first human today. He is alive and healthy, a brave hero of our nation. We have proven that this technology works now, but the practicality is still very limited due to the fixed translocation ratio. We still cannot send matter, only exchange between 2 positions. I have proposed a new type of device that could possibly achieve one-way translocation of a single object, but it would need an immense amount of energy. May 1st, 1985. Our superiors accepted my proposal. They're going to build a new, much bigger translocator here, in the power plant, so we can use a nuclear reactor as a direct source of power. But there's one more thing. We've now translocated dozens of test subjects. Each one is alive and well, but sometimes they're a little bit, well, different. They sometimes claim that various events in the past happened differently than they actually did. Sometimes they claim to know people who don't exist, or more alarming, they know people who they're not supposed to know. The following was written below, in pencil, by hand. Test subject 28 was speaking an unknown language and couldn't understand any real language after the experiment. There was a lot of missing pages afterwards. April 25th, 1986. We're going to try and change our approach. It's been more than a year and we're still unsuccessful in eliminating the translocation symmetry anomaly. We still don't know what's causing it, but we're not going to make any progress this way. Today we're going to try and access the conduit reality instead. Even though Unit 2, the one we built in the power plant, is still new, we're going to use it for this experiment. Who knows what wonders were waiting for us on the other side. There was one last page in the logbook. On it was just a single phrase, written again and again. We let them in! Alex, I think we should go, I called. Man, come take take a look at this," he answered. I stepped out of the lab and back into the hallway. There were clothes all over the corridor, well, what was left of them. They were torn to shreds. No bodies, no blood, just strips of cloth and an occasional shoe or watch. I looked up and stared down the dark corridor in front of us. I just stood there for a while. It was, I don't know, as if something had torn all these people to shreds and then cleaned it up, except the clothes and other non-organic material. A wave of pure, indistinctive dread washed over me. I couldn't move. I didn't even breathe. "Let's just get out of here," Alex said. We turned around and walked away, slowly at first, but we quickened our pace. Our footsteps echoed across the underground structure. "I just want to get out of here, man. We shouldn't have done this," Alex said. I didn't tell him about the logbook, but my thoughts were cut short after a sudden realization. His voice didn't echo. It was just our footsteps. I think he realized it too, because we both stopped and listened. Nothing. Just silence. I stepped forward. I took another step. There was the door just in front of us, and I forced myself to try something. I closed it behind us as we passed it and placed a glass beaker that I found on the ground on the top. I took a step forward. Silence. It was just an echo after all. We walked away, carefully at first, but then once we quickened our pace, we turned around a corner and then it happened. The glass shattered. Someone or something just opened the door. We dropped all of our gear except our lights and ran as fast as we could. I didn't know we could run this fast. I always tried to be a tough guy, but I have never been so scared in my life. Our footsteps didn't echo anymore. Or better said, they weren't in sync with ours anymore. Something was running after us. Each second, it was getting closer and closer. As soon as we reached the security checkpoint, we started closing the doors. The rusty joints in the doors squealed in protest, but we pulled with all of our strength. We almost had it closed when we heard a loud, guttural, unnatural growl. The door slammed shut and I threw the wheel in the locked position. My heart was pounding so fast that it was all I heard for a while. No, wait, it wasn't my heart. It was that thing, pounding on the blast door. We were running away again. We reached the stairwell and ran up, taking 2 or 3 steps at once. We finally reached the air pump room. The ascent really exhausted us, and even though I was scared shitless, I felt like I would pass out if I took another step forward. Besides, we locked it down there. Alex sat down and leaned his back against one of the vertical vents with a bang. Bang! 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 Oh shit, we locked it down there, but we forgot the vents. Alex and I looked at each other, our eyes met, and then the vent burst and he was gone. I only heard him scream as he was dragged back down. I feel terrible for doing this, but I just ran. I climbed the service shaft and locked the service door shut when I was finally out of this hell. As soon as I had phone service again, my phone started beeping with loads and loads of missed calls and messages from Pavel. "Hey Dimitri, I found this guy. He says he knows what O13 is. Please pick up as soon as you can. He says it's dangerous and you should stay out of it. This guy is calling me now. He sounds serious. Please call me back at once. I don't know what's going on, but he's going there. Please, I hope you can get this before you go down. Stay safe, friend." There was also one message from an unknown number. "Dimitri, this is Anatoly Moroz. I know what you found, and I'm on my way from Kiev now. Do not go down there. If you already did and you managed to get out, lock the door that you used to get in and make sure it stays locked. I will call you when I'm here." So here I am, writing this while I wait. I do this to make sure no one else repeats our mistakes. Since I don't know if I'll live long to tell anyone personally, I can't leave Alex behind. I have to go back. Whoa. I've never done a scary subreddit. I've never even been in a scary subreddit before, despite my horror fascination. So I'll definitely be coming back to the subreddit on my own time for sure. But I just want to say thank you, Kate, for recommending this. This actually was a pretty good read, I'm not gonna lie. And Kate, if you're listening to me, I hope that you are feeling better. I hope that you start feeling better sometime this week. I know that this week is gonna be a long one for you, but just know that I'm here for you. And if you have any other suggestions, I will happily oblige. Also, to any of you guys who saw my last video, I know that it was a bit of a heavy subject, and I'm sorry if it was too much for you. I am. But it was a subject that I felt like really needed to be talked about, and a subject that, you know, personally, I felt like I could give input on just due to the situation and the circumstances. Yeah, but on to just a slightly lighter note. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It was very interesting. It took me a little bit of time to record it because I kept messing up, but I've never done a story like this before. And you know what's so funny is that when I'm reading these Reddits and then I always find myself like messing up or like choking up, and I'm like, come on girl, you were like super accelerated in reading all your life and now you're really gonna go over here and mess up over a Reddit post? Are you serious? If you liked this, please leave a like, a comment, let me know. I usually am not really the one to scream at the start or the end of my video, subscribe, because, you know, if you want to do that, I'm pretty sure you know what the subscribe button is, where it is, what it looks like. So if you wanted to do that, I'm pretty sure you would. I don't really think that's something that I have to scream at you to do. But yeah, only thing left to say is bye.